Before hope was born in a manger, before angels broke the silence of the night with songs of glory, and before a single quiet star began to guide the weary across the darkened sky, the world was waiting in a long and heavy stillness, carrying centuries of sorrow, longing, and unanswered prayer. As kingdoms rose and fell like fading shadows and ordinary people struggled beneath the weight of fear, injustice, sickness, and loss, wondering in the quiet places of their hearts whether heaven had grown silent and whether God still remembered the cries of the broken. The land of Israel lived under the power of Rome, where foreign soldiers walked the narrow stone streets, where taxes were heavy and freedom felt distant, and where families tried to hold on to faith while facing the daily burdens of survival. Yet even in hardship the people remembered the ancient stories told by their fathers and mothers, stories of a sea once opened by the hand of God, of a shepherd boy who defeated a giant, of fire and glory that once filled a holy temple, memories that whispered of a God who had acted before and who might act again. Though 400 years had passed without the voice of a prophet and the silence stretched across generations like an endless night, testing hope, weakening strength, and causing many to wonder if the promises had been forgotten, still, deep beneath the quiet doubt, sacred words remained alive, carried in fragile hearts and written on worn scrolls, speaking of a child who would come in humility, a bringer of peace, a light for those walking in darkness, one who would heal the wounded, lift the poor, and draw the lost back to the heart of God. And while some waited with faith, others searched for power, and many simply tried to endure another day. Fishermen casting their nets on calm waters before sunrise, farmers working stubborn soil beneath the burning sun, mothers whispering prayers beside dim oil lamps, fathers looking toward uncertain futures, and lonely souls lifting their eyes to the silent stars, hoping that somewhere beyond the darkness a listening God remained, unseen to human eyes. History itself was moving with quiet purpose, roads being built across nations, languages spreading between distant peoples, empires arranging the world in ways no ruler could fully understand, all preparing the stage for a single moment chosen before time began, reminding us that silence is not the same as absence and that waiting, though painful, is often the hidden beginning of something greater than we can imagine, because the deepest night always comes just before the dawn and the longest silence often stands closest to the first sound of hope. In those days, power ruled without mercy, and kings rose like storms over fragile lives, striking the people with cruelty that seemed to have no end. Fear walked openly through the streets, and suffering settled into every home, where the sick lay in quiet pain, the hungry searched for bread that never came, and the broken wept through sleepless nights beneath a silent sky. Mothers held their children with trembling hope, fathers carried burdens too heavy for words, and the cries of the wounded rose like unanswered prayers into the darkness, as if the whole world were groaning beneath a weight it could no longer bear. Yet even in the deepest sorrow, a hidden longing remained, the whisper of a promise not yet seen, the fragile belief that somewhere beyond the cruelty, beyond the tears, beyond the long night of suffering, a Savior was drawing near, and that one moment.